Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sean Pourgol. I'm an osteopath, and today I want to speak with you how you can work as a manual osteopath in the United States. There are two types of osteopathy in practice in United States. One is called osteopathic medicine, which is basically the same as regular medicine. These physicians, they perform surgery, prescribe medications, and there are over 100,000 of them, and out of those, less than 1,000 perform hands-on manual therapy. Then there is about 2,000 manual osteopaths, or also known as osteopathic manual practitioners in the States, offering care to those who need it. For over a century, there was no profession of manual osteopathy in the United States. They were in Europe, Africa, Asia, Canada, and elsewhere, but not in the US. There was an assumption that you cannot practice manual osteopathy in the US because there are so many osteopathic physicians there, they won't allow it, that American Osteopathic Association will not allow it. But there are more than 300 million Americans, and as you know, manual osteopathy does wonders in treating chronic pain. Manual osteopaths see last resort cases that others cannot help, and they do miracle on a day-to-day basis. They treat patients who have pain for years, and they help them. So it is my lifelong goal to ensure that any town around the world with a population of 100,000 or more have access to at least one manual osteopath in the city. So I couldn't let this go. I wanted to expand the profession of manual osteopathy in the States. I decided to open a school there. When I approached the lawyers, over 10 of them told me that as a Canadian you cannot own a university in the States, but I proved them wrong, because I always do. I try to find ways, I try to be creative and thinking. I think big, and I try to find solutions for everything. I don't just accept a no, and I don't just accept the status quo. I try to change things. I try to change the system for better so people can benefit. So I didn't take this no from the lawyers. I worked a lot, and I read all the laws, and finally a lawyer was able to register National University of Medical Sciences in Naples, Florida for me, and he asked me even to come and work with him as a lawyer. Because you have to read yourself. Don't just take whatever people tell you. Even if they're professionals, doesn't mean that all the professionals know everything. In general things, yes, but in niche market, in small things that is detailed knowledge, they might not know that. Additionally, others told me you cannot open an osteopathic university in the States. Again, osteopathic physicians would oppose it. American Osteopathic Association would come after you and prosecute you, and so on. But they were really professional. I contacted American Osteopathic Association, let them know that what we were doing. They were very nice, very professional. They had some concerns that I worked on that. They wanted basically to make sure that the American publics are not misled when they see one of our students or one of our alumni to think that they're receiving osteopathic medicine. So they gave us some guidelines, and we followed that. First of all, I changed the name of the profession in the States from osteopathy or manual osteopathy to osteopathic manual practice, to make it really clear that we are a different, distinct, independent health profession. And also, while in Canada and elsewhere we use the term manual osteopath or osteopath, in the US, I told our students that they only use the term osteopathic manual practitioner. Additionally, I ask all our alumni to make, in their consent form, they write that they're not osteopathic physician, get the patient to sign that the patient know that they're not osteopathic physician, they're not doctors, they're not providing medical care, they're not providing any type of care that the osteopathic physician provides, that the the client knows that they're receiving manual osteopathic care. I set up guidelines for students to follow to ensure that they satisfy the American Osteopathic Association guidelines. Our university was registered in 2016. It is the only school of manual osteopathy in the U.S. And additionally, our alumni formed the American Association of Osteopathic Manual Practitioners. Dr. Daniel Nuzum, one of our professors, and also who was one of our students, he is the president of this university. He's also an indigenous peoples. As you know, osteopathy has roots in indigenous peoples healing arts and body work. Dr. Still, founder of osteopathy, worked over 20 years at Shawnee Tribes reservation land, and he found the Cherokee and Shawnee tribes healing arts and body work, and he took it, organized it as a system of healthcare, and introduced it to the world as osteopathy. We have a lot of indigenous peoples in the profession, and osteopathy is considered a heritage of indigenous people in North America. Our alumni also founded the U.S. Council on Osteopathic Manual Practice Education that accredits future manual osteopathic schools. Our university is accredited by this organization. Our alumni also founded the American Osteopathic Manual Practice Examining Board, which is in charge of providing board exams for those who wish to write the board exams. It is voluntary, it is not mandatory, but having a accrediting organization that accredits the schools, having a board exams that provides board exam for the members of the profession, and having the association, these are necessary things to advance the profession of osteopathic manual practice in the States. Now, I want to say that clearly on this video that you, as no matter where you studied in Europe, Canada, Australia, Asia, Africa, you as a manual osteopath, you can practice in all states in United States of America. Across the US, you can practice and provide osteopathic techniques with certain conditions. So you can open your own clinic in all across the US. We have students from Hawaii to Alaska to New York, Washington, California, Texas, Dallas, and a few other states, Missouri, and some other states, I don't recall all of them. You can work in all of them, but you have each state, unlike Canada and Europe, that countries are very homogeneous in their laws. In the states, each state has its own laws and regulation that you have to follow, and they differ. For example, in California, it is mandatory for you to get every client to sign that a consent form that you're not a doctor, you don't offer medical care, that you don't provide electrotherapy, you don't provide diagnostic services like ultrasound and X-ray, that the client knows that he or she is not receiving medical care. This is mandatory in California. You have to follow that. So these are like, you must know, it is your responsibility to become familiar with the laws and regulations of the state you practice in. But you can practice, you can provide almost all osteopathic techniques in all American states. You cannot, however, in any part of U.S. provide spinal manipulation, HVLA technique, high velocity, low amplitude techniques. You cannot. So please make sure you follow that. It is against the law. It's considered an authorized act is the same in Canada, you cannot do so. You cannot provide SMT, spinal manipulation, etc. The majority of all other techniques like muscle energy technique, osteoarticular technique, global technique, wellness protocol that I found, osteopathy wellness protocol, I found this technique, manual mechanotherapy, strain counter strain, soft tissue therapy, all of them you can do. That is fine. You can provide that in your practice. There are a number of things that you cannot do in any part of US, no matter where you are. One and more important, you cannot offer medical diagnosis to anybody. Okay, you can provide osteopathic diagnosis, manual osteopathic diagnosis. For example, if L4 is not moving well, if L3 has hypomobility, if there's a spasm in QL and stuff like that, but not medical diagnosis. Anything that is in Merck's Manual of Medicine, those are all considered diagnoses. You cannot provide any type of medical diagnosis, even if your background is physiotherapy, chiropractor, medical doctor, and you know it for sure, you cannot even say it. Okay, so please make sure you follow the laws and regulations of the state you're practicing. Number two, again, as I said, you cannot provide a spinal manipulation, joint manipulation of any type, no high velocity techniques, rhythmic, gentle techniques are fine. Number three, you cannot offer any type of diagnostic imaging. You cannot read any type of diagnostic imaging. You can read it for your own knowledge, but you cannot discuss it with the patient. Please make sure you follow that. Number four, you cannot treat any type of bone fracture. You must refer them to hospital. You cannot use bracing and casting for the fractured bone. You cannot do that. Next, you cannot put finger inside anus to mobilize or manipulate coccyx. No matter what condition, you cannot do so. You cannot put finger in any cavity except the mouth. And while this is not against the law, I always tell my students, do not work on the breast, on the female area. I know there are some massage therapists who specialize in that and they work on breast conditions. If there is a need for that, please refer to those massage therapists in the US and do not do that yourself because you will get into trouble. And next, you cannot set any dislocated joint, especially shoulder, any type of dislocation. Refer the client to a hospital. Again, as I said, each state is different. Some states do not allow you to call the customers you see patients. You have to call them clients. So please make sure you follow that. Again, as I said, you can work in all states. It is a wrong assumption that manual osteopath, European osteopaths, Canadian manual osteopaths are not eligible, are not permitted to work in the states. That is wrong. You can work in all of it. I founded Osteopathic Chronic Pain Clinics of Canada in September 2017. Now we have 329 clinics in 30 countries. And over 14 of them in the United States. We have clinics. Last week we opened one in the town of Vancouver in Washington State, not the Vancouver in British Columbia in the US. We have clinics, a few of them in California, in New York, Texas, Dallas, Nevada, in Las Vegas, and some other places. And they're doing very good financially. Some of them are charging $160 US an hour, which is a very good income. They are very happy, and many of them are fully booked because I think there is less than 2,000 manual osteopaths in the US, and there are 300 million people, chronic pain everywhere. And if you can treat chronic pain, your practice will be fully booked really fast. So that's why they are booked. They're really good people, and they're working to help people and help the profession expand in the States. Actually, some of them are even getting referrals from osteopathic physicians, which is really, really good thing, and I'm very happy about that. I want to see a day that osteopathic physicians and manual osteopaths work together in the same clinic. It's something really nice. I know osteopathic physicians don't have the time to provide manual osteopathic care. It is something really nice for them to have a manual osteopath in their clinic, and I suggested to my American students to approach osteopathic physicians, especially those who practice as a family physician. It's something really good to have. It feels good to have both professions together. That's about it. So to answer your questions, yes, you can work in U.S. and as a manual osteopath. We are the one who we brought back the profession of manual osteopathy to the U.S. over 100 years, almost a century. There was no manual osteopath in the U.S. There was no profession of manual osteopathy in the U.S. and we changed that. That's what we do. We expand the profession worldwide. We brought the profession to so many countries. Bermuda never had osteopath. It has not. Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Tanzania, Namibia, Morocco, Iran, and so many other countries. India, Pakistan, Malaysia, Singapore, so many places, Dubai, that we expanded the profession there because the people of the world deserve to have access to manual osteopathic care. It does wonders for chronic pain, and I really wish everybody with chronic pain had access to manual osteopathy. It's just so beautiful, so good, such an amazing, wonderful health profession for chronic pain, and that's why I work so hard. I do so much marketing to expand the profession. I even made it mandatory for my students to publish 2 blogs online as their homework about osteopathy, because I want everybody to know about osteopathy. It's such a wonderful profession. Again, that's it. I let you go. It's a beautiful day. It's lovely. I'm here in Naples, Florida. That's why I set up my university here, because I love this town. I love to come here. It would have been better for me to register the university in Nevada. It's an online university, and in Nevada there is no state tax. Here we pay state tax, but I wanted to be in a place that I come visit it once in a while. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Until next time. Bye for now.